delay, but thank you for joining us for the 2023 fall season of the fourth show for WCEG Issues and Answers with yours truly, Honorable Valencia Stovall. Today is Monday, November the 6th, and you're listening to the new WCEG Network on the WCETalkRadio.com. You can watch us live streaming or watch us live on your smart TV, YouTube, Twitter X, because y'all know it changed it, Facebook, or LinkedIn. We're the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. You can subscribe free on our YouTube channel as well. And we also have some new platforms, so you all check us out. I must give this disclaimer. The topics and opinions that you all will be hearing on this show and by the show hosts and guests are not those of WCEG Network. And we thank you for your continued support for this particular station. And we want you to make sure you tell a friend about coming and listening to Issues and Answers. So we are so excited today. So y'all know the last episode, I always give you a recap. The last episode, we tackled the topic of sane versus insane with our guest Bishop Dr. Tanya Sumner Brown, who's a psychologist and founder of a humanitarian nonprofit. She gave us some great advice on seeking help for treatment, along with parents need to be more watchful about their children's friends and their internet. And now on last Monday, I was a guest on WIGO, The Fact Addict, with my dear friend Angel Massive. We had a lot of fun, y'all. But you know, when you are on different platforms, you never know who's watching. So I have my play niece, Morgan, who's a fifth grader. She heard me on the show. She asked me to give her a shout out. So, hey, Morgan, I got to make sure I give her a shout out. And she's actually going to be a guest on my show in December. She'll be the first time me having a fifth grader on my show. And also want to give congratulations to Dr. LaWanda Falami for being nominated for the NCBON's 2023 Unsung Hero Awards. Well deserving for Dr. Falami. Well, my guest today is Honorable Judge Stephen N. Knights Jr., the Henry County State Court Judge. And now I've known Judge Knight as a family man and a man who cares about the future of our youth. I met him when he was mentoring youth on how to stay out of trouble. I've watched him as a magistrate judge and now as a state court judge. So you all, here comes the judge. All rise. No, we're not in the courtroom, so I'm going to pretend like I'm a bailiff right now. So all rise. Welcome, Honorable Judge Knight, to Issues and Answers on WCGE.
Thank you very much. I still call you Representative Stovall, Honorable Valencia Stovall. Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor and a privilege to be here.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. I know your schedule is so busy, and we just appreciate you taking the time to talk to our listening audience about your position as a state court judge and kind of educating the community. Many people get very fearful when they think about going to court. I even do, even though I might not have done anything wrong. It's just a matter of the fact that I might have to go to court. So tell us, what is the role of a state court judge?
So a state court judge here in Henry County and in counties across Georgia, there's civil matters and criminal matters. On the civil side, there's personal injury, which could be like your car accidents, trucking accidents. It can be matters like wrongful death, medical malpractice matters. There's also can be certain types of appeals from magistrate court, which is, for example, dispossessory, which is landlord-tenant matters. So that's on the civil side. And then on the criminal side, state court handles misdemeanors. So misdemeanors are crimes that are punishable by up to 12 months in jail and up to $1,000 fine. So for example, like your family violence battery or theft crimes, those type of offenses. Then there's also traffic offenses like failure to stop at a stop sign or speeding, those type of offenses. So you have your criminal matters, which are misdemeanors, you have your traffic offenses, and then there's also some county ordinance violations. So that's state court for you. We're a trial court here in Georgia, and that's state court there in a nutshell for you.
Well, thank you. You know, I don't think they teach that in school. They barely teach enough information so you know who your local elected officials are. And so for you all who don't know, this is an elected position. We have all the judge seats are elected itself. It depends on what county you're in. As far as with the juvenile court judge, some of them they elect, some of them are appointed by the superior court judge. But and so you started as an attorney, then was a magistrate judge in Clayton and Henry, I believe, and then you were appointed by Governor Kemp to your present seat as a state court judge. So I know you told us a little bit about the state court, and you even kind of touched on the magistrate court. And I know a lot of people probably had to go to magistrate court, especially during the whole time with COVID. You know, they were having to go before the court. So I didn't know if you wanted to touch on that just a little bit. You know, you gave me the difference between state court and magistrate court, but you know, just talk about your experience as an attorney and how that has helped you as you know, as a judge, as a magistrate judge, and then as a state court judge.
Yeah, certainly. So, just going back at my background, as many people may know, my father was a judge, so I've been in the courtroom from a young age and have always been excited about the law. I started my legal career as a prosecutor. So I was an assistant solicitor general, and the assistant solicitor handles, again, on the state court level, misdemeanor criminal offenses. And then I became an assistant district attorney. And so here in Georgia, the district attorney handles felonies, and the felonies are handled in superior court. So I was a district attorney handling all the major felonies: murder, armed robbery, rape, child molestation, the trafficking, drug offenses. So all of those offenses, handled those offenses for about 7 years as a prosecutor. And then I went on to become in private practice as a criminal defense attorney, again, doing misdemeanors and felony offenses, and then also doing civil matters, which were personal injury, all civil litigation matters. So the years of experience as an attorney, both on the prosecution and criminal defense side, then as a civil attorney, also handling matters not just on the plaintiff side, but as a defense attorney on the civil side, are really the four corners of what state court is about, right? So you have criminal matters and civil matters. And so everything that I've dealt with over the years as an attorney prepared me for this role as a state court judge. Also, as you know, Representative Stovall, I was appointed as a magistrate court judge in 2012. And so when I was first appointed, and this was when I was in Clayton, I was able to handle, again, everything on the beginning phases: the first appearance, preliminary hearings, bond hearings, and then civil matters up to 15,000, and also dispossessory, which is the landlord and tenant matters. Here in Henry County, while I was a magistrate court judge, I actually worked during COVID. So exactly what you said, the dispossessory matters, which are the landlord tenant matters, and being able to adapt in this virtual world where, much like we are now, Zoom, WebEx, having court on these platforms, and now in this role as a state court judge, having to use hybrid court in some instances, for example, where there's folks who may be, for example, inmates in the jail, we still are able to use Zoom. So that cuts down on transporting inmates, or if someone is maybe out of state or maybe is ill, we can use, Zoom, or WebEx. So certainly differences, explaining between magistrate and state court, as well as my experience that I've had. I think all of my career and being a magistrate court judge, while being a magistrate court judge, many people may not know, I was still able to practice law. So I just did not practice law in the county where I was a judge. So that's the difference. So municipal court, magistrate court, some of those positions may allow a lawyer to still practice law. So that was unique for me because I was still able to, be in courtrooms all across the state, but still be a judge certain days out of the week. So vast experience. We could be here for more than the time of your show explaining that, but I'm always grateful and thankful for the opportunity. Not many people get a chance to do what they feel they're called to do, and I'm blessed and fortunate to have that opportunity and affect and change lives every day.
Yes. And that was very educational. Like I said, many people, because they're not, not attorneys or have to be in the court system a lot, they may not understand the difference when they say, okay, you're summoned to go to state court, or now or summons to go to magistrate court. So, and then of course, with everything that happened with COVID, that definitely changed a lot of dynamics and opened up, I think, a lot of opportunities that normally we would never probably have tried to figure out if it could work or not. But we were forced, with a whole lot of things that we used to could say, no, you can't do that with the court. But now, there are all kind of possibilities. So nobody can have an excuse that they couldn't make it, to court. My tie, I broke down on the side. Okay, you have a phone, you need to zoom on in for your court case.
No, and initially with COVID, with Zoom and WebEx, because I did court throughout COVID, there wasn't completely off time during COVID. I was doing the protective order calendars on behalf of the Superior Court judges here in
Wow.
Henry County. So stalking protective orders, the temporary protective orders turning into 12 months, 12-month orders. So we were having court every Thursday through WebEx, but during the week I was reviewing constantly Monday through Friday, and then we'll have hearings on Thursday. So court didn't stop, 100%. And I think the virtual realm, is here to stay. Some counties, we're fully up and running here in Henry County, and we've been fully up and running, for trials and everything. In fact, last week I had an 82 position criminal calendar, and I had 3 criminal jury trials and resolved most of the other 82 cases. So we're in court live, but we still have the option for certain matters where folks can be virtual. So I think the virtual hybrid type of court is here to stay.
Yes. Okay. Um, so, when you think about, family, and I know when I was elected official, my kids at that time were in school, and there was a lot of pressure on them for their behavior. You got to be right. Your mom is state rep. You can't do this. You can't do that. So I could just only imagine, with your kids, the pressure, that they may be under as being children of a judge. So how is it that you and your wife ensure that they have as much of a normal life as possible?
Yeah, and that's a great question. That's always an everyday balance. On the one hand, my children have pretty much been exposed to, being in the public eye to an extent. And that's always a challenge because, you want to protect their childhood and not expose them, too much. But there's always a photo here and there. And that was something where, we kind of didn't want our kids to be exposed, but they've always been exposed in one degree or another. So really it's just, adjusting them to the life which they're, I don't want to say accustomed to, but they know what's happening. They understand, what their father does, their mother does. They understand what their parents do, being in the legal field. So they know that there's a lot happening, and I feel like with them knowing that, they still are normal kids. They do normal activities. Their friends are, don't treat them any differently. We still have to show up at birthday parties like everyone else. So there's no, there's, different activities. So there's still, even though they're aware, they're aware of what's going on. I think that, my children are, fortunately they understand, what's happening, and they appreciate what's happening. They get it, like, they'll say things like, "Oh yeah, Daddy, yesterday we saw Governor Kemp, or we met Governor Kemp, and then today we met," and they're checking off all the folks that they've met.
Right.
So, they're able to get a chance to speak with, um, their friends or school, and they'll say, "Well, oh, we went there, or we met this person, or we know that person, or we've seen that person before. My dad was in an event with this person and we met them." So I think part of it too, they're also getting a chance to be, in history, just based on, the people that they've been meeting, the things they've been exposed to, and they enjoy it too. I mean, they get a chance to do things where, even though they're having a normal childhood, they're still getting that exposure that, for whatever they choose to be, whatever they choose to be. And of course, there's no letting up. I mean, education is a priority for us. So there's no slacking off in school. There's no, you know, getting away with anything. It's still the normal parent thing, and still, this is how you deal with things, and you're not going to be able to escape. So I take some of what was instilled in me growing up, and being in an environment, and of course, culminate what's happening in present days and times, and just try to be a parent, and we try to, parent our children as best as we can, and
Yes.
you know
So that's all you could do is instill in them, the values, that you have, and then allow them to grow as well. But many people fear standing before a judge. I talked about that earlier.
yeah.
So, what tips are you able to give, especially when they come down to that jury duty?
Well, the jury duty, I'm going to leave that part alone. I think it's a great honor to do your civic duty. And I'm always grateful for everyone who show up and do their part there. But as far as the average person standing before a judge, I mean, I always treat folks with respect. I always, one of the things that I set out to do was to be the judge that I would want to be in front of when I go to court. So going to all of these counties, 159 counties in Georgia, I've been to many of them for
Right.
court as a practicing lawyer for what, 17, almost 18 years. And so seeing the judges that are great judges, and just picking and choosing those things that I liked about those judges, incorporating what I would want to be as a judge. And for me, it's a noble and natural calling for me. I'm always comfortable on the bench. There's nothing that's going to be, you know, done differently than it should be done. I'm strict constructionist. I follow what the rule of law is. Everyone's going to be treated fairly and impartially. And I treat folks with respect. And so for me, one of my main things is being on time. I've been in so many courtrooms where the judge is late routinely, or just does not consider the litigants or the attorney's time. So I always tell litigants and the lawyers, if I'm here, I'm going to be on time. And when I first started, it was surprising because folks didn't expect me to be on the bench at 9 a.m. for 9 a.m. court, or on the bench at 1:30 for 1:30 court. And so that's one thing that you can expect me to be on time. If I'm present, I'm on time. Secondly, you can expect respect. You can expect for me to be prepared. You can expect for me to treat everyone the same. You can expect for me to follow the law. So those are the things that you can expect from me. For a litigant, what I can say is do the same. Show up on time, be respectful. Know that the judge is not everyone, right? A lot of times I speak to folks, and just having a conversation with them, they may be, upset with the other party if it's a civil matter, or they may be upset with maybe law enforcement, the officer who pulled them over, or maybe the prosecutor if it's a criminal matter. But I remind them, hey, I wasn't there. I wasn't there when this incident or alleged incident happened. I wasn't there as you're going through the process, but I'm here now, and I'm here to ensure that your rights are protected and ensure that both sides have a fair and impartial outcome here. So those are the things that you can expect. And for a litigant, the fear, that's just natural. I mean, I can't, there's nothing I can do about that, but court is court. It's a different place to be, but court is, for me, it's a safe place. And I tell people all the time, court is a safe space. It's a safe place. And I'm here to ensure that your rights are protected. Your constitutional rights are protected. The rule of the law is followed. So you're going to have a fair day in court one year before, Judge Nice.
Okay. And I know we're pressing up against time because you have another appointment, but as we close out, what advice do you have for young people interested in being an attorney or a judge? And please share any other information that you would like the listening audience to know.
Certainly. Well, for all the young people, being a lawyer, being a judge, it's a noble profession. It's admirable for you to do. It's more than just, hey, I can argue with my friends, so I'll do it. It's more of, hey, you are actually representative of the law. So you can think of it that way, and it's a noble profession in that way, and so many more things. You can do a lot with a law degree. But and advice for a young person: first, stay in school with getting those good grades. Remain in school. You have to get to good grades. Once you're an undergraduate, you can do any major you choose. Get your 4-year degree in any major. It doesn't have to necessarily be pre-law or criminal justice. It can be whatever you have an interest in. And find good mentors from an early part or of your undergraduate career. Maybe shadow or apprentice or intern with a lawyer, a law office, a judge, and get your personal statement written, get that edited over and over. You need 2 letters of recommendation or references. You have to be prepared to take the law school, the LSAT, which is the law school entrance examination that's sent off to schools, and of course, maintaining those good grades, doing some extracurricular activities, such as, interning, those type of things. And then once you get to law school, you may find your area of interest there, and go from there. But the biggest thing I can say, outside of the roadmap things is, never give up on your dreams. I tell folks all the time, when I was graduating, the oldest graduate that was with me was 57, and he spent an entire career doing banking and finance, and then he always wanted to be a lawyer. So if he can do it, and so many other examples, right? Besides age, so many people with obstacles in their way, whether it's, being a single parent, whether it's not having the finances, you can think whatever obstacle you could think of, you can overcome the obstacles. So never give up on your dreams. Always be, hopeful, no matter how down it may seem, and keep going forward, no matter how bleak the situation may seem. So I would like to thank you again, the Honorable Representative Stovall, for this opportunity. This was great, and I want to apologize to your listeners for the delay, which was on my end. And I also want to let everyone know, if you all would like to learn more about what's happening here in Henry County. We're doing great things. Henry County State Court received a Clarence Rate Award. We're productively getting matters handled efficiently, fairly, and impartially, following the law here. And if you all want to learn more about what's happening with Judge Nights, you can go on my website, judgenights.com. You can also find me on the social media platforms, at Judge Nights, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X. and the like. So again, thank you. The Honorable Representative Valencia Stovall, appreciate you as always. Thank you for this great opportunity.
No, thank you, and we appreciate you, and we look forward to circling back around. Again, to check back in, to ask you to check back in with us here on Issues and Answers. Thank you again. We're very, very much appreciative for you taking time out your busy schedule. Thank you, Judge Knights.
Thank you.
All right, you all. That was a wonderful interview. We appreciate Judge Knight for hanging in here with us. I know he had a long, long day and he has some other appointments to get to. So I know he's going to excuse himself off of the platform, and we're going to keep going. We have, that say what time is it? Y'all know it's say what time segment. And so every day there are situations happening all around us that make us want to say, what in the what? So according to Georgia Future's website, Georgia Match is a simple way for high school students to know if they are eligible for admission to be admitted to college based on their recent high school calculated Hope Grant GPA. We want to make it easier. The state wants to make it easier for students to be able to attend college. And so the only way that they can be able to do that is they actually have this new program called Georgia Match, where they actually send out information to the high school students on the colleges that they can submit their application to. And it's based, of course, on their academic record. It works with public and private accredited high schools in Georgia. The program hopes to give the state a better qualified workforce. So that's to say what to the what? Yeah, can you imagine that? Just think of we had been able to get a letter telling us what colleges in Georgia that we actually qualify for. Of course, you still got to go through the process, but if you want to know more about that, go to Georgia Futures, maybe.org, I think, or just Google Georgia Futures to find out more about if you have a high school senior, because most of the time most of them don't know what they want to do when they finish school. All right, next say what? Okay, according to WABE, Georgia has $10.7 billion in surplus cash for the third straight year of big surplus under Republican Brian Kemp, the governor. 2022 budget years, the state had $5.3 billion surplus, even after spending $32.6 billion dollars, which is the rainy fund, filled to the limit of $2.1 billion. So when the state did its budget, and they the state budget, of course, in Georgia, it has to be a balanced budget, unlike in Washington, D.C., they don't have to have a balanced budget. But in Georgia, we have to have a balanced budget. So that budget for 2022 was $32.6 billion. But even after that, there was a huge surplus that was left over. And would you believe that $10.7 billion is enough to give $1,000 to every Georgia resident? That's a lot of money, y'all. So it's going to be something for us to watch as the new legislative session starts in 2024 in January. And a question you could keep in your mind is, could state services be starved by setting artificially low revenue estimates? So we have to watch how those estimates are set for the revenues. And with all this excess money, there's no reason for people not to be able to get the help that they need and for it to be spent in the right way. Now, that's to say what? Yeah, a surplus in Georgia with funds. Surplus means extra money. All right, the next say what? Last month, Forbes ranked Georgia as the worst state for healthcare with a 100 out of 100 score. Now, y'all, 100 out of 100. Forbes said that we're the worst state. It ranks third worst in healthcare costs and has the third highest rate of residents who lack health insurance coverage. Minnesota is the top spot with the best healthcare in the country. Now, I'm not telling y'all to go and move to Minnesota, but hey, they got the top spot for the best healthcare in the country. And so when you look at surplus money that's left over and you look at the current Medicaid program that's going on, a lot of people are still not being covered. And a lot of people are sick. And when they go to the doctor, they don't have the money to be able to get the insurance, even the ones who might not be able to get insurance through the healthcare.gov program, but then don't qualify for Medicaid. So that's maybe something that you're going to hear some more probably going into session, talking about what is Georgia going to do to get from at the bottom when it comes to healthcare costs in this state. Wow, I tell you, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Every year, I'm gonna go back because I did see it was a question that came in to want to know about the judge position. Okay, we have the three branches of government, and you have the legislative, executive, and the judicial. So Judge Knight's position is on the judicial side. And in the state of Georgia, the judges are elected. Most of the time, people do not pay attention to those when they're on the ballot box. It's not this year, but next year will be a lot of judicial elections that'll be taking place. So you all pay attention. A lot of times, like I said, unless you have the reason to go to court and you go to court, you may most of the time didn't know that majority of those positions are elected. Some of them are appointed, but majority of them, especially on the superior and state court levels, and even magistrate in some circumstances, but they are elected. That means you vote for those individuals that are having the being able to oversee what's going to happen with your case or a family member's case. So don't forget that when you're voting for president and vice president. Also, that we live in the country, America, where you're able to have a democracy, you're able to vote for the people that you want to be in. And speaking about voting, you all know tomorrow is a voting day for many cities across the state of Georgia. Municipal, which means cities, many of them are having their some are mayor elections, and some are city council elections, some are school board elections. So you have to make sure that you're checking to make sure that you know where you're supposed to go vote if you're having an election. Some had some special elections that happened last year. So you go to my voter page, mvp.sos.ga.gov, to find out if you're in an election cycle and where are you supposed to go vote. Early voting is over with y'all. So if you didn't get your early voting in, it's too late. You got to wait till tomorrow to go and vote. And the polls, depends on where you are. Most of them are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Take your ID with you, and you shouldn't be no long lines, so you should not, be prepared. But we hope that there are long lines voting. But most of the time for municipal elections, they have a very, very low vote turnout. And when you think about it, just think about a city of 10,000 residents. And then when you're looking at the election turnout on that day, you may only have 1,000, maybe 2,000. If that many, you may only have 800, that end up coming out to vote. That is very sad, because what they're saying is that a small portion of people are deciding who's going to decide on the direction of the city, city or even the school system that you are part of. So you can't complain if you're not paying attention. And this is the time to go and research. We have the internet. You heard the judge mentioned earlier about how the internet and has changed everything. COVID changed everything, to say, well, there's no more excuses about not having connectivity. So since we know that, then you have to make sure you're being diligent and making sure you know who you're voting for and if they're doing a good job. You can find it on the internet if they're doing a good job, or even talk to some of your neighbors who might be a little bit more involved than you are, but you have to get involved. So I want to make sure that I cleared that up about whether that position is the elected position. Yes, it is the elected position. It's not an election year this year while we are doing this show, but it will be up. That and many other positions will be up next year. So don't just look at one position, president, vice president. When you look at local, those are the ones that directly affect you immediately. immediately. Those are the ones that you want to pay extra attention to and making sure you're voting. So if you have not already cast your vote for your mayor, city council, or if you have a school board race, definitely go out and make sure that you do that as well. Now, I have a few announcements as always. Now, March the 21st, everybody say March the 21st. March the 21st. All right, that is Georgia Single Parent Day here in the state of Georgia. Yes, Georgia Single Parent Day here in the state of Georgia. You already know there was a holiday, did you? Now, of course, you can't take off. It's not a paid holiday unless you just want to use your PTO or something like that. But it is a recognized holiday here in the state of Georgia. And it was signed into law by Governor Deal. That was my second piece of legislation, House Resolution 279. And in recognition of that, we celebrate single parents every year. We've been doing it since 2019. Yeah, I know you probably didn't know, but I'm here to tell you, make sure you spread the word. But right now, we are accepting nomination. The National Leadership Group, which is a nonprofit arm that is spearheading with the Georgia Single Parent events that we do across the state. And you could be male or female, single parent doing an outstanding job raising your children. So either if you don't have nobody, anyone to nominate you, guess what? You can nominate yourself or have someone else to nominate you. It's a very easy process. They're only going to do is they're going to talk about what makes you an outstanding single parent. And we want to recognize you at our annual Georgia Single Parent Legacy Builders Recognition and Awards event. Now, let me tell y'all something. We really have a good time. So we start off on March the 21st, wherever day that falls on. We go down to the state capitol. Now, if it's on the weekend, of course, we don't go down. We'll go like the Friday or the Monday after that. But this year, we're going to be down at the state capitol on March the 21st, 2024. And we're going to be celebrating our single parents. We get a chance to take pictures with our elected officials, with our governor, with also get recognition on the House and hopefully the Senate floor where we're recognizing those single parents. And then we have a skate night on that Friday where you can be able to come out, bring your kids, come on out for a family night of skating. Then on that Saturday, which will be March the 23rd, we will actually have a banquet that we will be recognizing and giving out award certificates to our single parents who have done a great job. So one good thing about our recognition and awards event is that we recognize everyone who is nominated because we believe that if someone took the time, even if it's you, but if someone took the time to nominate you for they believe because they believe you are doing an outstanding job, then you should be recognized. So right now, our nominations are open. Go to nationallg.org, nationallg.org to make sure that you go online and register. It's an online registration. So make sure you go on there, national, nationalg.org. All right. And also, if you want to become a member with our Georgia Single Parent Coalition, you can be able to get information from there as well. We'll be doing allowing you to have access to training, counseling, parenting classes, resources, family fun activities, life coaching, and more. So, what did I say? March 21st is Single Parent Day in the state of Georgia. So, and we also look for sponsors. We also have our ads where you can be able to purchase an ad. Say you used to be a single parent, but all your children may be grown. And your parents still may celebrate all the wonderful things that you've done for them as a single parent raising them. Well, they can actually buy you an ad. Put your name and a picture in our souvenir book to recognize you. Now, and then you know what? They can even buy you a banquet ticket to show you how much they appreciate you. So our nominations are for current single parents who are at least current single parents living in Georgia. Now they live in another state. I'm sorry, we have made it to other states yet. So this just for Georgia, okay, the Peach State. All right, so every show, I always we like to encourage you to support Georgia House Bill 89, which will create a reparations commission to recommend appropriate policy remedies for descendants of chattel slavery in Georgia. Get involved by visiting reparationssunday.info. And that's reparationssunday.info. And I give a special thanks to Tamara Johnson Shealy for leading these efforts. It's not easy, but this particular reparations commission will talk about what would be the best way for the state of Georgia to recognize how reparations should be set up here in the state of Georgia, not anywhere else, here in the state of Georgia. All right, and that's House Bill 89. All right, check your status for Medicaid coverage. Many people were dropped during the time that they were reevaluating a new system put in place. And so you want to make sure that you're covered. So go to statecovered.ga.gov or gateway.ga.gov and make sure you do that before May of 2024. So you have a little time, but don't wait till the last minute to do that. And again, my voter page, Georgia My Voter page will tell you where you're supposed to go vote. If you're a registered voter, you can go there, put in your first initial, your last name, your date of birth, and select the county where you registered. And it will bring you up a profile, and you can look up for My Voting Precinct, and it'll give you all the information that you need. So we're excited about, like I said, Judge Knight being here. We're excited that we have issues and answers, being able to bring different issues that come up across the state of Georgia, and you never know what to say, what is. I do want to ask everyone to definitely keep a good friend of mine in prayer, Chief Emmanuel Adeyemo. He's been hospitalized now for about 4 months now. And so we'll continue to trust God that he's going to have a full healing and recovery, and he'll be able to get right back to where he was and even better. Every year we host the Yoruba Day celebration where we celebrate the African culture of an African tribe of the Yoruba tribe and African Americans, and how we can be able to be unified together to make sure that we're able to grow together. And that only can happen by communication. And so open up those channels of communication for us to be able to talk about our differences, talk about those things that are that we have alike. And I was really surprised in the past years that we hosted it. There were a lot of things that we actually shared in common when it comes down to our African American culture and the African culture. So we're definitely looking forward for Chief Emmanuel to join us back. And so we can be able to continue that work, and even going over to visit in Nigeria and helping with work there, and being able to help economically the country of the state of Nigeria and here in the state of Georgia, being able to see what kind of coalitions we'll be able to build from there. So, it's almost that time. Time always runs out when you have such a good time, right? But all good things must come to an end. This is not our season finale show, but we'll be close next month. We'll be December, so everybody's getting ready. Matter of fact, we even jumped over Thanksgiving, so everybody's getting ready to get prepared there. But on November the 20th, my guest is going to be Newton County Commissioner Elena Sanders. She's a professor, an author, and a fitness expert. But she's going to be coming to talk about a new book that she's just recently published. And I'm actually one of the contributors to that's featured in that book. I'm talking about Black females that are elected in a male-dominated world. So, y'all, it's going to be a good conversation. And so make sure you're tuning in in about another 2 weeks, November the 20th. Make sure you mark it on your calendar. We're going to have, and Elena Sanders is a Newton County commissioner. And so we're going to talk a little bit about her being a commissioner and what motivated her to actually write this book when it comes down to Black females being in the elected position and females being in the elected position, and everyone knows politics is usually male dominated. So she's going to be bringing her insight, and hopefully we're able to have the other two contributors who also contributed to the book as well. And one unique thing about her book that she has is that it's a workbook. So if you're interested in running for office and you just don't know where to start, make sure you tune in. If you know somebody that's interested in running, make sure they tune in on November the 20th, because we're going to really be talking about politics, about elections, what to look out for, and why when you're deciding to run, you have to make sure that's your decision and not what everybody else pushing you to do. Because there are going to be times when you have to make decisions on your own, and those people mean well, but they won't be able to be there with you when when you have to make those decisions. And I ran into that a lot when I was a former state legislator. So we know the goals of issues and answers um, with yours truly is to educate you on those things you might not think about unless you are in a situation to be concerned. And if you have some show ideas, definitely send them to me in the email at contact@ghostovall.com. And I'm excited. Like I said, in December, we're going to have my first fifth grade um, guest on the show. So that's going to be very interesting. I might have to get some questions and see if we are smarter than a fifth grader. That'll be very interesting. But Morgan is a very bright young lady, very energetic, and she's the daughter of one of my childhood friends. We've been friends ever since kindergarten. So you know that's a way back, way back, way back. Well, thank you all for tuning in. This is going to be okay. This is going to be ending up our show for this evening or this afternoon. So thank you all. Y'all take care. Let's continue to keep those that's in the Middle East in our prayers because war is never good. But sometimes it's inevitable. So you all enjoy your rest of your day. And thank you again. Thank you, Judge Knight, for joining us on Issues and Answers on WCEG Talk Radio and Talk Network. Thank you.